Welcome to Marin Open Studios Zoom workshop. Today's topic's Instagram Reels and Canva for marketing your art before Marin Open Studios in May. Instagram Reels are a form of video posts on Instagram, and Canva is a design platform, a free design platform that you can use on the internet and on your phone. There is actually a Canva app. And so we'll talk about both today as far as how to use them between now and the Open Studios in May so that you can make the most of the time we have between now and then. So we will cover, again, overview of Instagram Reels. Part of that will include trending music, how to find it, how to use it, cover photos for your Reels, because that's how you control what your Reels look like in your feed after you've posted, and that hence influences people on whether or not to click and watch your video if they're visiting your profile for the first time. Hashtags, which are the search terms of social media and are used heavily on Instagram in particular. So it's important for you to know hashtag research, for instance, and that's part of what we're going to cover today. Event reminders. So this is something you can use for photo posts, and you've been able to use for photo posts on Instagram, but recently, in recent Instagram updates, you can now put an event reminder on a reel. So I'll show you guys how to do that today so that you can allow your followers on Instagram to click a little button, tap a little section of the screen, and Instagram will remind them next week, Marin Open Studios. 2 days from now, Marin Open Studios. Tomorrow, Marin Open Studios. Today. So it's a really cool automated feature where you don't have to feel like you are putting a bunch of content out repetitively. The platform will remind people, if they select to get the reminders, will remind them leading up to it. Then we will cover Canva photos and Canva videos, because these are two different things, right? We can go onto Canva and create something from scratch or from a template that's just a photo post. You can use for Instagram, you can use for Facebook, you can use for LinkedIn, you can use for your emails, but then Canva also has the ability to make videos where you can have moving elements, where you can have different slides going one after the other. Different forms of animation with text sweeping in and sweeping out. And I'll show you guys an example of that today as well. So Instagram Reels. When you're on your phone, you're going to have apps. This is what my phone looks like with my apps on it. We see the little Instagram logo here. The first thing you do when you create an Instagram Reel is find trending music. And the way that you find trending music, and I'll pause when we get there. So when we get to our feed, this is your feed. This is how you know that you are looking at other people's content, is that you have the circles at the top. These are stories, and you have someone else's post coming up showing to you. This is Melissa Woodburn's post. In order to source trending music, and by trending we mean something that is currently rising in the number of people who are using it. Anytime you choose a piece of music that has a little arrow pointing upward and to the right, when you go to the music screen or the music page and you use that music, you're more likely to have your video get pushed by Instagram to be seen by more people. So the way to source music that is popular and trending right now, at the bottom of your screen, you'll see this little menu. There's the house, which is black. That's home. That's where we are right now. There's a magnifying glass, which is search. There's a plus button, which we would use to make a reel from scratch, but we're finding the music for our reel first. And then we have this one, this little one right here that looks like a square with a little play button and some stripes on top of it, a little stripy hat. That is the Reels logo. Basically, in order to source trending music, you just look through other people's Reels and you watch at the bottom of the screen for that little upward rightward facing arrow next to the name of the song or the audio on the reel. When you find one, and really we're not listening to the audio of this video right now, but when you find a trending audio that you like, that you think would be complementary to images or videos of your artwork, you tap the song name and it'll take you to the music page. So first, we're gonna press play. So we tap that little guy down there, And all of a sudden we're looking at a beautiful video of food. You can see that at the bottom of the screen, there's text overlay and there are buttons here. There's the like button, the comment button, the share button. You can also see the caption at the very bottom. This is your music. And if you look closely, lower left corner to the left of the music is an upward rightward facing arrow. And so this is how you can tell if a song is trending, is that next to the name of the song, it has that little arrow pointing up and to the right. So in order to see if this is something that I want to use, as in we want to pick a song that's popular, but hasn't been used a million times, because that's an oversaturated choice. We want to pick something that's in the thousands of recent usages, not in the millions. So if we were to tap that with our finger, tap that actual song name at the bottom of your screen, it'll take you to what's considered a song or music page. So I tap that with my finger. It takes me to a song page. So we can see here that it says trending. So Instagram is flat out telling you this is a trending song. There's a little gray box here. This means that for the moment, and we're paused in my recording, but for the moment, Instagram is calculating how many people have recently used this song. And so if I press play, it'll pop up. So this says 23.4 thousand reels. Like I said, if the song is in the thousands and not the millions, go for it. If it only has 4,000 or 1,000, some people on Instagram say that that's even better because it's trending, but it's not so popular that it's oversaturated or overused. So I've seen success with both, guys. There's no solid, unfortunately, no solid recipe for success when it comes to Reels. I can't promise you that if you use trending audio and you use hashtags and you use a good cover photo, that it's going to go meteoric, right? There's really no way to predict it. But when you use trendy music, hashtags, and a clean cover photo, you're more likely to catch virility. Keep in mind, anytime you make a reel, don't just use any song, use trending audio, and don't just pick any trending audio. Pick one that's in the thousands, preferably not the millions. And if it's in between something in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, lean towards the tens of thousands. Because once you get into hundreds of thousands of people making reels with this song, it becomes hard for you to stand out, even if you have the most beautiful art and the most beautiful composition. I chose this song. I made a reel of for Marin Open Studios with this song. It's now actually living on the Marin Open Studios Instagram and on Facebook. So I'll show you guys exactly how I made it in Canva once we get through this process. But basically, I've already made a video and I'm just adding the music to it and doing the hashtags and everything else here. So this is a little bit faster than making a video in Instagram. It is possible to create a video in Instagram, like a photo slideshow, or uploading one video clip and then uploading another video clip and another one. So there are ways of creating a video edit in the Instagram app itself. But for the purposes of today, because we're talking about Instagram and Canva, you can make Canva videos. So in a way, why not just make the video on Canva first and then upload it to Instagram as a finished product and just do all the stuff that we're focusing on today: trendy music, hashtags, cover photos. So I chose this song, which means I picked this blue button. When you tap the use audio button, that basically takes you to Instagram Reels editing platform, like where you are now in the process of making a reel. And that means that you would access your camera roll on your phone. So any videos or photos on your phone can be seen and accessed by Instagram and then pulled into the Instagram app and created into a reel. You can do just video, you can do photos, you can do photo and video. It's flexible. Like I said, I already made a finished video on Canva, and I'll show you guys in a couple minutes how I made it. But for now, just you'll see that I'm just pulling in a finished product for this one. So I click the blue use audio button. And this takes us, oh, look, it's my beautiful face. So this takes us to the Instagram editing page. And so we haven't added anything yet except for the audio. So it's showing us the little kind of album cover of the song that we just chose. You can see a lot of things here, guys. things that we're not exactly touching on because we're not creating a video in Instagram. We already created the video in Canva, but you can add special effects like sparkles or filters. You can change the length from 15 seconds to 30 seconds to 60 seconds. So somebody asked in the chat already, what's the length? You can go up to a minute now on an Instagram reel. You would just specify here by clicking that. We're doing a 15-second one today, but that is possible. One time speed, you can speed it up and make it go faster. So if you did like a video of you painting and you wanted the video to be shorter, you could speed that up. They have layouts where you can do photos and videos in kind of a collage format, one stacked on top of the other. And then there's a timer shot, which means if you wanted to shoot a video of yourself and make it entirely on Instagram, you could tap the timer 3, 2, 1, step back, and it'll start recording a video of you. So you don't have to be holding the button. Again, we're not touching any of that today because we already edited a video on Canva, and I'll show you guys how. But so for now, all I did was down here in the left corner, we're accessing our camera roll. There's a little square with a blue plus button. When you tap that square, that's going to open your camera roll for you to pick either your most recent video or any content from your phone and bring it into Instagram to make it into a reel. So we do that. And we can see that I have the video right here, 15 seconds. Selected that. So this is the video that I made on Canva. Some of you might recognize yourselves or your art in this little compilation. But essentially, I'd asked a couple workshops ago for some of you to send me pictures of yourselves in your studios or with your art. And so I made a little video of some of those images. There's also currently a video ad that's running for Marin Open Studios that has these images in it. So just to go backwards a little bit, so we chose the video. You can see down here, there's a timeline that's showing it, the video to us from left to right. There are little white tabs with black lines on the left side and the right side. This means you could crop the video and make it shorter, either from the beginning or from the end. But again, I made a 15-second video. It doesn't need to be any shorter. And so I'm just moving forward up here, upper right corner. It's a little faint, but there's an add button. So you're confirming on the Instagram app that you are adding the video that you just previewed and selected from your camera roll. And then once we tap the add button, now we have a different menu come up. So you remember we had the menu here on the left. Now we have a menu here at the top. So this first one, the music note, there's an option to change the music if all of a sudden you decided you didn't like the one that you chose, or you can adjust the volume. So if for whatever reason you didn't like how loud a song is, or you want it to be quieter, or let's say you did a video of yourself talking, you could click this little music note 1 and you'll see an option to level between you, your sound of your voice, and the music that you chose. So you can make the music quieter and your voice louder, that kind of thing. That's a slightly more sophisticated reel. You definitely don't need to do talking reels with trending music, but that's how you would adjust that. We also have this capital A, lowercase a button. That's to add text. As you can see on Canva, I already added text in the Canva app, so we don't need to add any text to that. The next button, it looks like a little post-it note with a smiley face. That's one where you can add all sorts of different features to a reel. You can make a post, or you can make a reel where it has a poll asking a question. You can have other sorts of like GIFs or moving elements, like a little guy dancing or a person pointing at something. So we could kind of play with that all day long, but we're trying to cover a couple big topics today. So there's a drawing button, so you can actually squiggle and draw on things. This little one with the little stars allows you to filter or brighten, or filter with little sparkles or things of that sort. And then you see this one on the far right, that's a download button. So when you create a video on Instagram, let's say you made it on Instagram, recorded it on Instagram, put little sparkles and stuff on it, you can actually, before you post it, you can download it to your phone with all the sparkles, with the text, with whatever you did to it. And then you can have that saved video to put on Facebook, to put on YouTube as a short, to put on TikTok if you're on there. And so it's a great way to maximize the effort that you made creatively on this video. Again, I made this video on Canva, So I already have the finished thing that I can put in all those other places. And so I took the Canva video finished and put that on Marin Open Studios Facebook. I didn't need to download it from here. Whether you play with these things or not, lower right corner, you see a blue next button. This is going to take us to where we do our captions, our hashtags, our reminders, everything else. So we hit that next button. And now we're here. So this is the big last step before you post and publish. There are certain parts of an Instagram reel that are irreversible once you've posted. So if you ever feel like you're kind of rushed doing an Instagram reel, or that you feel like maybe you forgot something, or wasn't there one more step that Caron told me to do? Take a beat and go through every element of this page, because once you post it, if you make a mistake, there are certain things you can't undo, which means you have to delete it and start all over again. And if you didn't download the video to your phone, you have to actually create the video from start. I've done this before. I've had a video that I posted and I made a mistake and I had to go back, delete it, and start from scratch. It's totally annoying. It makes what is a 10-minute process into a 20-minute process. And so keep in mind that this is the page where you want to pay the most attention, because this is where we optimize Instagram. So we see here at the top, it's hard because the video is white to start and it transitions into text, but you see a gray button that says edit cover. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to cover a cover. We're going to select a cover image, like a thumbnail, for the video from clicking this little gray button. And then that is what's going to show up on your Instagram profile once it's posted. And this is important, not just for the look of your Instagram profile, but because people are more likely to click a reel and watch it from your profile if it has a good looking cover image. We also are going to crop that image, move it around or zoom in and out to make it fit exactly in a square. So even though a reel is a rectangle by shape, you all know that your profile on Instagram is not rectangles, it's squares. So if you don't want your forehead chopped off or the bottom of your art chopped off or some of the text to be chopped off, you got to make sure that you crop the cover photo as well as select a good looking one. So we're going to start there. We click the gray button to edit the cover photo. And here we have, again, it starts in white, so it's a little hard to see at first, but you have what the video looks like up here, and we'll see what it looks like in a moment. And then down here at the bottom is a little ribbon that will show you every second of your 15-second video, and you take your finger on that ribbon on the bottom and slide left or right until you find an image that you want to use as your cover image. You can see at the very bottom, there's also an option to add from your device. So if you have a nice photo that fits into a vertical rectangle, you can upload an image. And yes, you can create that image on Canva. Right? So if for whatever reason you don't want to pick an image from the video footage itself, you can manually upload from your camera roll on your phone a custom image just for this purpose. I do that all the time. I also pull from the video all the time. Today we're going to pull from the video just for simplicity's sake, but it is an option to customize that image, which again controls the quality of the appearance of your feed. And we're all visual artists here, so it's very important for you to think of this type of thing. Not, does the video get a lot of views, or a lot of people going to find it through hashtags? Is it pretty? Is it good looking? Does it look nice next to your other posts that you did earlier this week, or the posts that you're about to do? How does it look in the general scheme of things, right? So we go to the bottom of the page and we click, or we slide our finger left and right to pick an image. So you can see how, there we go, we start sliding along in the video, and I ended up picking the image at the end of the video because it has a couple of horizontal images that fit nicely into a square. And so then here we are to crop it. It's kind of difficult to see, but there's a square in the middle of the screen, and then it kind of has a light overlay that shows you what will not appear and what will. And so I kind of squared and moved that around a little bit so that those 3 images of our 3 lovely artists appear in that crop. And then once you've cropped that, you hit the done in the upper right corner. We're going to get to caption in a second. Scroll down and hit tag. And so I'll back up the truck just a little bit. So the first option underneath the caption, underneath filling out your caption, is going to be a tag option. This is where you want to tag yourself for sure. Tag yourself as an artist, but also you're going to want to tag us, Marin Open Studios. So here, tag people, you tap that. You hit the plus button, you start typing in Marin, if I can spell, Marin, and Marin Open Studios should auto-populate. Ta-da! So now you've tagged us. Now we will get a notification that you have tagged us in your reel, and that means we can share that to our stories. So we can share your beautiful content that you made to our stories feed. What are all these other options? Add a message button, add topics, tag products, add locations. Looks like a lot. Here are the things you need to know. Here are the things you can skip. I would skip add a message button because we are actually going to, down here, we're going to add a reminder with the dates of Marin Open Studios. So I find it to be confusing if you have a post with like too many clickable elements. If it's a video about Marin Open Studios, you don't need to give them the option to message you and the option to do a reminder. Pick one or the other. So for today, I want people to be able to click on my reel and set a reminder for themselves where Instagram will notify them when Marin Open Studios weekend 1 is almost here. And so we're not going to add a message button. Adding topics, which is a newer capability of Reels, means that you're helping the robots to understand how to decide who to send your reel to. And then tag products. I'm also not going to choose that because we're talking about products that are sold on Instagram. So unless you sell art on Instagram, as in you have an Instagram shop with product pages like prints or art t-shirts or things of that sort, skip that. You will go to add location and you can do Marin County if your studio's in San Rafael, if you're an artist at Marin Mocha or at the Falkirk Mansion, like you can tag a general building or a gallery, or you can tag a city, or you can tag a region. But that helps people to understand like locality. And then the reminder we will be doing. So first, after tag people, we're going to skip add message button. We're going to go to location. So I went to location. I made Marin County because MOS is all across. Then I went to topics. You can see that the topics are limited. You can't make up your own topics, but there is visual art. So I did visual art, painting, and textile arts. Then I scrolled down. I went to advanced settings and I made sure I uploaded the highest quality. First, we're going to do the reminder. And so when you tap a reminder, you do an event name. So you can say Marin Open Studios with Judith, or Marin Open Studios with Melissa, or Marin Open Studios at. I chose the first day of MOS, which is May 6th. And then I also chose 11 a.m. because that's the starting time of the first day. Once you do that, it asks you if you want to do an end time because it's 2 weekends. I put the second day of the second weekend. So I did May 14th and the days end at 6 p.m. Actually, as I say that out loud, is it 5 p.m.? Somebody tell me in the chat. But anyway, so I said 6 p.m. on Sunday, the 14th. If I made a boo-boo, caption writing. Save the dates. So we are making this a reminder reel. You can say whatever you want in the caption. I like to put a couple emojis on there. You could do an emoji search for art or brush to get the little art palette and the paintbrush in there. Marin Open Studios is happening. First 2 weekends of May. Again, if I can spell. You know that the dates are on the video. You know that you're going to have the dates in your reminder, but go ahead and be redundant and put the dates in the actual caption as well, just to really hit it home for people to mark their calendars. There are going to be some people who don't tap the reminder thing. There are some people who are going to kind of ignore the dates that are in the video. There are also going to be people that don't read the caption. So just think about having, if you're going to do a save the date type post, think about having it in as many places as possible. I didn't put a location on this, but you can definitely say at my house, at this gallery, at this address. And then make sure you do a call to action of some sort in your caption. So you want to say, join me, or come see me, or with this post, because I'm posting on behalf of Marin Open Studios, the whole organization, I'm pulling people with more than 250 artists will be opening their studios and galleries to the public for this fun and colorful event. My call to action is tap the link in our bio to visit our website and start planning your art adventure. In the bio of Instagram on Marin Open Studios is marinopenstudios.org for people to go to our website. They can visit the map, they can see where artists are, and they can start planning out where they want to go. Hashtags. So every time you type in hashtag and then a word or 2 words, you start doing hashtag research. That means you're looking at the numbers that come up when you type in these terms. Art Lovers has 17 million results. You are a drop, not in a bucket. You are a drop in the ocean if you use Art Lovers. Don't use Art Lovers, use art collectors, art buyers. Try not to use hashtags with over 10 million results, guys. It is just too much to compete with in this world. It's like hashtag beauty or hashtag love. You're going to be in the hundreds of millions in results. So when you're doing hashtag research, we like hashtag Marin Open Studios. We like hashtag Marin County, right? Support local artists, Bay Area artists. This way you have a nice balance of terms of different sizes. And just as a reminder, hashtag Marin Open Studios, we don't get notified of that. We get notified when you tag us in the reel where it said tag people that I showed you guys earlier with the ampersand. Keep that in mind. You can definitely use hashtag Marin Open Studios, but we don't get notified when that happens. So then I'm thinking targets, like we want at Target. Art curators, we want to target home stagers. Home decor is 135 million. Like jaw drop. Let's not go there. So home decor ideas is a better size. I think it said less than 1 million. Local artists, so on and so forth, right? General rule of thumb, you can do a maximum of 30 hashtags. You want to do between 10 and 20. Like you definitely can do more than that. Like you could go right up to 29 or 30, but don't do less than 10. Between 10 and 20 is the magic range. And I think with this one, I counted them out as I was recording it, but I think like I did like 19 or something like that. You can do things with the word reels in it, art reels, artist reels. Then of course there are other things on here, like I wanted to do like art is life, which is kind of an abstract, but again, you can see here, artists has 19 million, illustration artist has 12 million. So be careful of these kind of easier terms, guys. Make sure you stay less than 10 million in your terms. And then art events, 113,000, nice. And I kept going. Art buyers, 868,000. So if you keep it less than 1 million, that's a nice balance. Just don't go over 10 million. So we have a good number of hashtags. We have our cover photo. We have our trending music. We tagged, we did topics. We have a big blue share button here. I also copy the text before I post, just in case Instagram has a glitch and doesn't post my video. It's happened. But if you spent all this time writing this caption and coming up with these hashtags, and for whatever Instagram reason it says it didn't post, you're going to be really sad that you have to do that all over again. But it posted. So here's what it looks like in the feed. You can see a little button here at the bottom that says Saturday, May 6th, and a big blue line that says remind me. So if somebody taps that remind me button, they'll get automated reminders from Instagram leading up. I hit watch again. This is what it looks like full screen. Anytime you do a post, anytime you do a reel, make sure that you share it to your stories. That's by tapping this little paper airplane button here on the right side. Under the heart button, under the comment button is the paper airplane button. When you tap that, you'll have the option to share the video with other people or add reel to your story. So always add a reel to your story, because younger art collectors actually don't like going through their feed as much up and down. They like looking at stories with it, which is left to right. They feel like it's a little more raw. They feel like it's a little less filtered. So anytime you make a reel or a post on Instagram, share it to your stories, and maybe go a step further, add a link to the story so that someone can click through and go to your Marin Open Studios page or your website and see more of your art beyond just what's on Instagram. So I tap add reel to your story, and I zoom out a little bit to fill it all the way up so it fills the screen. I then click the little menu at the top that looks like a post-it note, and I hit link. I type in marinopenstudios.org, and then you want to customize the sticker with a call to action, like visit our website to learn more. But you can say visit my page or see more of my art. You tap it a few times to change the color, and then move it down so that it doesn't cover any important information on your video, but that is a clickable element. Now people can go and see the story, tap it, and be taken out of Instagram to your website, to the Marin Open Studios page for your art, wherever you want people to go. You could take them to a newsletter. You can take them to a sign-up page to join your newsletter. So here we go, tapping through our stories. Here's a few stories that I've shared today, and ta-da, it's posting still, as you can see in the lower left corner, but that's what it looks like in stories in the little circles at the top. And then you can see how it looks here in your feed and how it looks in the Reels feed. So cropped for a square here, rectangular on the other side. Now, here's the special sauce, guys. Every time you post on Instagram, go and comment on other people's posts for a few minutes afterwards. You don't want to do what's called post and ghost, where you post and then log out of Instagram. You want to post something and then go and comment on other people's videos and photos. Why? Because Instagram notifies them you have a comment on your post. That engages people, and they're more likely to see your content because they've come and looked at what you posted on their content. So there's karma to it, there's reciprocity to it, but there's also an algorithmic advantage. Instagram is like a casino, right? It wants you to come into the casino, lose track of time, and just spend all of your hours just, wasting away. So when you when you comment on someone else's post on Instagram and they have their notifications on their phone turned on, they get a ding, ding, ding on their phone that someone's commented. That means you just invited someone into the casino, and Instagram will reward you for bringing someone into the casino by showing your post to them when they come. So that's like the big special trick to making your Instagram Reels or any of your Instagram content perform well, is to spend a few minutes commenting, not just liking, commenting on other people's posts after you've posted. All right, that's it for Instagram Reels for the moment. Canva. So canva.com is a magical place because you can do a free account and have access to tens of thousands of templates in any shape for any social media platform in existence. You can also make posters, you can make banners, you can make postcards, you can make videos. It's pretty amazing what's possible. And so what I did for today's post was I made this video on Canva. I pulled in a bunch of photos that you guys sent me. I chose a template on Canva, and I switched out the text that was on the template, and I switched out the images. And then I duplicated that template a few times and switched out the images again. So if we start here, we can press play button up here in the upper right corner. You can say it says 15S. So it's 15 seconds because each of these 6 slides, I made them go for 2.5 seconds each. Doing the math, 15 seconds. So if we press play, it shows us the exact same video that we just posted on Instagram. So let me show you how I made it. We go to Canva. We want to type in the search bar what platform you're using, Instagram, and what type of content you want to use. So you can see how it says Instagram post, portrait, Instagram post, square, but we're not doing a post, we're doing a reel. So we type in reel. And sure enough, we scroll down, Instagram reel, and it has pixels, 1080 by 1920. So it is the exact ratio that you need to fill your screen, take up all that real estate on the Instagram platform. So we click Instagram reel. It shows you a whole bunch of templates that you can use. Most of them are free. The ones that have a little $ in the bottom corner or that have a little paid button, this template contains paid elements. That's because Canva is a business, a company. They want paid subscribers. So some of these really sexy templates are part of the paid version of the platform. So just keep that in mind. I am telling you definitively, you do not need to pay for Canva. You just need to get a little more creative, and we're all artists here, to sometimes recreate some of these ideas that you're seeing. But there are very simple, easy templates to use that are free on this platform, and you don't need to pay to access those. So we have a blank Instagram reel option, but I highly recommend playing with templates instead. It helps with picking fonts. It helps with the special effects and movements of text and images. And it really allows you to learn the platform much quicker as far as what's possible. So if we start going through, you can see these all have movable, clickable elements. And these are all things that you can replace and customize, change the text, change the video, change the photos, change the color, change the stickers. So we scroll down. It's a seemingly unlimited variety of posts, of images, of formats, of videos that you can be playing with. As you go down, just keep looking for ones that don't have a little paid button in the corner, or ones that don't have a little crown in the corner. Because again, those are the ones where you would have to do the paid version of the platform in order to access them. Just going back. So it's called Brown Minimalist Smoothie Bowl Recipe Instagram. Fun, right? So we can actually go backwards and undo a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Undo, 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 undo. Undoing all of my precious work. My go-to smoothie bowl. This is what it looked like initially. Ooh, so of course you can see this actually didn't have images in it. It had 3 different videos. So again, this really helps get the juices flowing when it comes to creativity, because imagine if one of them was you're prepping the canvas, one of them was you're splashing art on the canvas, and the third one is, you know, you're varnishing it, or one of them is you're wiring it, one of them is you're framing it, one of them is you're wrapping it in bubble wrap, right? Or if you have a really cool process like you know, that process of putting like leaves on paper and using the sun, or those of you that use cold wax, or, you know, different parts of the oil painting process, or putting sand on a canvas. There are just so many different creative ways that you can use this kind of a template. And so basically, like I said, I went to upload files, this purple video on the left. I uploaded a bunch of images that you guys had sent. And then this is only one long 17-second slide. And so what I ended up doing, as you saw, was I created a bunch of slides so that it kept shifting and changing so that I can get more artists in there. And so if you did that approach, you can show a bunch of your art instead of just 3 videos or 3 images of art. So if we go forward, so first I changed the text to Marin Open Studios, 11 to 6, and the dates. Then I took out that backdrop, made it white, and changed all the text to go from dark brown to black. Then I started changing the images. I changed the images for each one. Let's just put that one in there. Boop. And if we press play, ta-da, one slide. So you don't have to do a multiple slide thing. the way that I did it was I press this little triple dot, duplicate page. It makes a second slide with the exact same images, right? So these two slides are exactly the same. And then I take 3 other images and put them in there. And now when we play it, it's a 10-second video. A little bit longer for each one. And you can see it has this little transition that goes to brown in between them. So that's just like a little background effect. You can choose here, make it white, and then we won't have that. And then you just duplicate it again. Duplicate. Add some other images. And what's cool about this is you can adjust how the image fits in the frame of a template like this. So you double click on it and you can move it from left to right to fit in that frame. You can scale it to make it bigger, right? Also, you saw some of the images that I have here are horizontal. So if you want, you click on it and you can actually rotate this frame. You can see how it has degrees here. So make it exactly 90 if you don't want it to be off kilter. And then you can take a horizontal image of your art, double click it, and then rotate that. Our Burning Man artist. Right? It's still the same effect. It still swoops in and swoops out, appears and disappears. And if we wanted to, right now we have a 15-second video. You don't have to do a full 15 seconds. You can click on it and you'll see 5S. You can click on that, say 3 seconds, and then you can apply to all pages. And now it's a 9-second video. Goes by a little faster. You can do images of you and your art collectors, images of your process, or they could be videos, right? We are at the hour. So our Q&A is going to have to go a little bit over time today, but I hope this guys gave you some idea of how you can really make some cool advanced stuff on Canva, especially for video. I'm going to stop the share. Anybody who has a question, put it in the chat now. I'm going to start from the top, and then I'll unmute you guys if I need any explanation. So Melissa Woodburn says, sometimes when I post to Instagram, it allows me to push the posts onto my Facebook page also. Sometimes I don't see that option. Any thoughts? So Melissa, if you don't see that option when you're posting, you can actually share the post to your Facebook after the fact. So that is something that you can do from Facebook, from Instagram, anytime after you've created an Instagram reel or a post. And you have to check your settings to see if Instagram is connected to your personal Facebook profile or to a Facebook business page, because whichever one it's connected to, that's what it'll share to. Then Tim Horn asked, what is the length limit of videos posted on Reels? That's a minute. A minute is the max. What file format should be used for Reels? So Tim, MP4, MOV, those are the 2 main video files that you would use. Any other ones, and Instagram might not recognize it. Also, by default, your phone is going to record in either MP4 or MOV, depending on if it's Android or iPhone. So anything that's natively recorded on your phone, like video recorded on your phone, will be recognized. Fawn asks, are hashtags still relevant? If so, how many are ideal? So we did cover that, Fawn. 10 to 20 hashtags between 10,000 and 10 million as far as the recent results when you do that hashtag research. Again, the maximum number of hashtags is 30, but I tend to keep it in that sweet spot of between 10 and 20. Do not do less than 10. That won't be helpful to your reach. How did you get to the editing options, etc.? So Tim Horn, I'm going to ask you to unmute and tell me, sir, tell me what you mean by that.
Well, you were in the editing software and you were showing us all the options, but I don't understand how you got from the beginning into that editing software.
On Instagram or on Canva?
Instagram.
Okay, so when you are on Instagram, you can either press that plus button at the bottom of the screen, and that's what starts to make a reel, and then bam, you're in the editing already. What we did today was we picked the song first, chose the blue button that said use audio, and then that puts you into Instagram Reels editing platform. And then the first thing you do when you do the music do the music first is you pick from your camera roll, as I showed you, and you hit the add button in the upper right corner. And then the very next screen is where you have those editing capabilities at the top. So before you add, and I can bring up the recording again, but before you add footage, you have a menu on the left side of your phone, and that's like, what music are you using? How long is it? 15 seconds or more, etc. Once you add video or photos or whatever from your phone and you hit the add button, there's a second editing screen, and that's where you have those editing buttons at the top, the music button, the text button, the menu option, the drawing, the download button. So there's two different editing windows on Instagram Reels. The first one, when you're pulling in the footage and adding, pull it in, add, pull it in, add, like if you're doing a photo slideshow. And then you have a second one after you press the add button, the blue next button then takes you to the next step of the process. So it's always going to be, Tim, on the right side of your phone. It's either going to be in the top right corner, add, or the bottom right corner, next. That's what progresses you to the next editing screen. And the first editing options are on the left side of the screen. And then when you move forward, the next editing options are at the top of the screen. And it is a lot of options, guys. So just know that you can not waste time, but you could spend a lot of time exploring those options. So for today, like I said, you'll have a recording of this. I recommend watching it while you do it with your phone, and like stop and go the recording and try it, and then, you know, kind of go from there. Joy Phoenix says 6 p.m. I think so too. Tim, you said please review the very first few steps of starting to create a reel. So let me get through these other ones, Tim, and if we don't have too many other questions, I'll start from the beginning again. Cynthia says, comment on other people's posts or their comments or both. So Cynthia, if people comment on your post, definitely reply to every comment anybody does on your post, because that shows that you are responsive as an account, which helps the user experience. Like the humans who see your content are like, oh, look at her replying to every comment. That's so cool. She's not like too cool for us. From an algorithmic perspective, Instagram robots reward you for being responsive to people's posts, because again, that brings them in the casino, or it keeps them in the casino when you engage with their content, or you engage with their engagement on your content. Cindy says, is the time of day that you post important? Cindy, think of our time zone, California. If most of your followers are here in California, like as well as you know that most of them are, then keep in mind that like if you're posting at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., they might go to sleep before they see it. And then by tomorrow morning, who knows how many other hundreds of posts, depending on how many people they follow, have posted. So I generally don't recommend posting late at night. If you wake up at 4 a.m., you're a total early bird, and you post at 4 a.m., that person who follows you might not wake up till 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. How many people have posted since 4 a.m.? Instagram balances popularity of posts, but also what is the most recent post. And so the magic tends to be noon or midday, because you know you're going to catch people on like a lunch break, or they're definitely awake by then, even if they don't have a job, but you want them to have a job to buy your art. They aren't at dinner, they aren't, you know what I mean? So it kind of just depends on the individual as far as how often they're on Instagram, what time of day they log in. But when you look at Instagram can tell you how your followers log in, like the people who follow you, there's always a big mountain, and it's low at 6 a.m. and it's high at noon, and it's low again at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. So 10 a.m. is better than 8 a.m., 11 a.m. is better than 10, 1 is not as good as 12, 2 is not as good as 1, right? It rises and it falls. So midday tends to be the best time. Why do you prefer using Canva template instead of your own? So Cynthia, I am a creative and I love creating, but like I said, Canva is a deep, dark hole of capabilities. If any of you have ever used a video editing platform called Adobe After Effects, it is like impossibly deep how many things you can do with video editing on that platform. Like you could spend every year for the rest of your life trying to learn that software and still never learn the maximum. So I find templates to be the best starting point in that that's a nice font. That's a nice combination of two fonts, or that's a nice spacing because their designs, their templates are created by graphic designers. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm a visual artist and a video editor, but I'm not a graphic designer. So I really appreciate benefiting from someone's trained aesthetic on like how many images is just enough. What balance of text and images is appeasing to the eye? What color combinations, right? So lean into other people's expertise is the way I see it. I have had clients, this is the other reason, Cynthia, I've had clients go on Canva, create something from scratch, and they just get super perfectionist finicky, like up and down, this font, this font, this font, this font, this font. No, maybe that font, maybe this font, maybe that font. And next thing you know, they tell me they spent 3 hours making one post or making one video. That is not what I want for you. I'd rather have you painting or sculpting or handing out tour guides than spending 3 hours on one post. So I say templates just as a time saver. Melissa says, I'm making a flyer. Shall I add my home address since Open Studios is at my home, or shall I direct them to marinopenstudios.org? I would put your address on it, Melissa, because if you want complete strangers to be able to come to your house, which is what you're doing when you put your address on the Marin Open Studios tour guide, then I would go ahead and be bold enough to put that on the flyer. Cynthia says, how can we preview reels before posting them? So we showed that in the process. Cynthia, it's the last editing window before we got to the white screen where we fill out our captions and our hashtags. So upper left corner, you can actually press a little arrow and go backwards, back in time from the caption screen, and you can watch the reel play. It's the same window we were on where we had the download button. Remember when I mentioned you could press the download button and save the video to your phone and use it on other platforms? It was that same window. That's where you would preview before posting it. Someone says, thank you, you're welcome. iPhone 415-609-5670, you're welcome. Joy Phoenix, thank you, you're welcome. And Janet says, is it beneficial to save Instagram stories to the profile page? So Janet, that would be considered a highlight. You have a little circle highlight section of your Instagram bio. Yes, I recommend saving them there because again, it's just another opportunity for having your content more accessible to people. They don't have to scroll down the feed and see an older post. You can have like one that says new art, one that says events, one that says about me. You can create highlights based on topic. And that might be something we could use as an advanced social media workshop actually, because highlights have to do with your stories, your Instagram stories, and that's like a different bag of chips. But yes, it is beneficial. Have a wonderful evening. Get out there and make reels. Have fun with Canva. Cheers. Merci beaucoup. A bientôt. Adios. Sayonara. Have a great night. See you later.